You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we're talking about college football with real fans. I'm Devin. That's Mello. And as you can see tonight, we got a pretty big special guest on with us, Darius Gray, the #1 interior offensive lineman out of Virginia. How you doing tonight, Darius?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me. How are you all?
I'm doing well. I'm happy that you came here. A lot of people have been looking forward to hearing from you directly. So that's always a benefit for us in Buckeye Nation.
Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we've been I would be lying if I didn't say we didn't study your film a couple times. And here on Buckeye Boys, dude, we're obsessed with offensive linemen. Obviously, we love Ohio State. And I'd be lying if I didn't say I hope that you go there. But still, getting to watch your film and watching young players as yourself grow as players, grow as men. It's awesome to see in this world, because it's a world that they need more young men to become leaders. And I've followed you on X. I've heard some interviews, dude. So I know you love football. You love Jesus. I'm not sure it gets much better of a combination than that. So I'm excited to do this interview. And I know there's a lot of people watching in the chat that are excited about it as well. So if you are in the chat, man, hit this like button. Do us a favor. Take a quick second. Share this on X, Instagram, Facebook. You know what to do. We'll try to get to a couple questions in the chat. We got about 30 minutes with DG today, so I'm not sure if we will. But let's get this thing rolling, man. So Darius, obviously, big-time football player, big part of your life, man. Share a little bit of information. I'm not going to share it all, but a certain college team just left your house, man, an in-home visit. So your life is a lot about football right now. Take us back to the beginning, man. Did you have family that played football? How did this start? How did you get into football?
Oh, yeah. So I was always a big football fan. I was a big football fan of the NFL particularly. And nobody in my family plays football, actually. I have an uncle. I have actually one uncle that played football way back. And that was it. Everybody else was basketball fans, and that was pretty much it. My mom wasn't really an athlete. She didn't really know about sports in general. So I was kind of the first one in my family. And I started when I was 4 years old. I wanted to play tackle football, and I was a little upset when my mom first asked me if I wanted to play flag. I was like, flag? What is that? I was like, no, I want to hit people. So, yeah, that's how it all started. It all started way back when, I was watching guys like Clay Matthews and Calvin Johnson and Marquise Colston and guys like that. So it's always been a fun part to me. Always been an exciting time for me, and I just love, playing football.
Absolutely. So, who would you say is your favorite lineman or someone you like to look up to and design your game after?
Oh yeah, I can't go wrong with Trent Williams. He's definitely by far my first one. But to be a little unique, Teron Armstead was kind of somebody who, ironically, I got my jersey number from. I thought, for some reason I had a number 74 in mind, and I found out that he was not 74. So yeah, I kind of just stuck with it. But I was trying
Yeah,
to follow after him and wear his numbers. So he's another guy that I always looked up to. And I try and watch as many NFL film studies there are, and I love Joe Thomas' video the most so far. So
mm,
it's been good.
Man, good stuff, dude. So you spend a lot of time doing football related activities. When you're not doing something related to football, what you doing, man? You fishing, you hiking, you playing video games, and also it's a two-parter. You got to let us know, man. What's that go-to meal? What are you
Uh,
trying? What's the go-to meal, dude?
Well, I answer the first one. Go to meal steak all day. Anything. I
Oh,
love
that's
anything
my
red
son. Yes,
meat.
sir.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, you know it. Anything red meat, wings as well. Dark and white meat as well. But to answer your first question, what I do outside of football, really, honestly, as simple as it is, I work out. That's it. I work
Yeah.
out, and at night I'll play the game a little bit, but not as much as I used to. Like right after we get off this call, I'm gonna go hit the treadmill and the track and make sure I stay in shape. So, as simple as life could be, just working out and doing school.
Two
Nice.
questions.
Okay.
What flavor wings and what game are you playing if you're playing the game?
Oh yeah. Well, wings, barbecue, barbecue
Okay.
all day long, barbecue. And if I'm playing the game, it's college football. It's college football or it's 2K.
And
It's
who
2K.
what team are you using in college football?
I'm using Alabama. I'm using Alabama. Jalen Milroe, I mean, I run with him all day. So,
Nice,
Oh.
nice.
yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
Hey, so growing up, you said you got into football at a pretty young age, but was there a moment in your football career when you or a family member realized, hey, man, you or I might have a future in this thing? Like if I put my head down, I focus, dude, this could be part of my future. Was there a moment that you recognized, or can you tell us about what age that happened?
Oh yeah, so I honestly, my mom always saw that around 4 or 5 years old. She kind of saw somebody as a football guy that kind of stood out a little bit. But personally, me, no, I didn't really feel it till I was about 12 years old, 12, 13 years old, and I was a basketball guy, so I kind of fell in love with that sport. Thought I was going to the NBA, and once I realized I was a little too heavy already at 12 years old, I knew that wasn't happening. So, but yeah, so I took a year off at 12 years old. Then I came back and I knew just something was missing in my life. And that's when I came back around 13. And, I had great coaches that actually described what offensive line meant. And that's pancakes and playing with violence. And I fell back in love with the game. And so that's when I really felt like this could be the sport that, take me as far as I want to be. And that was the next step. Then that's when I really knew that that's what I wanted to do. And I know I could go as far as I want no matter how hard I work.
Man, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I feel like the best O linemen have played basketball. They have great footwork, so they could play across all five positions on the O line. So that's awesome to hear. I love to hear that. My question to you is, when did the offer start rolling in? How old were you, and what was your first offer?
So yeah, I was 14. I was 14 in the eighth grade, and it was around May, so it was around the end of eighth grade year, and that was my very first one. It was Virginia Tech. It was Virginia Tech.
Woo.
Came through my head coach. We called, and it was a great opportunity for me, and it was a blessing. But deep down inside, I still had 5 years to do the right thing. So I didn't let it take over, and I just stayed working, stayed humble, and that was just the main thing for me. And shortly after, actually, the next day, Penn State offered two. So that was the first two while I was around 14. And then that summer, I picked up three more going to camp. So it was just a great blessing. But I knew that, every time you get one, you always want more. And that's the way you got to do it. So it's been good.
Nice. This might be the question I'm just going to ask it. I wanted to kind of save it till last, but I'm not going to. So for me and Mello as well, dude, faith, specifically Jesus, is a huge part of our lives. He's a big part of this channel as well. And, watching Ohio State football last year, there came a time when a couple players had revival on campus. And it brought about a little bit of a division in the fan base. You had some fans stating, dude, I don't want, my football players all about this forgiveness, love stuff, makes them soft. And then you got the other side, the fan base saying, hey, I love this thing. You big time football player, man, can you speak to us in regards to your faith, number one, and how that affects your life, but more importantly, like, what does that mean to incorporate it into football, man? It is kind of weird to think about, because football, you got to be pretty violent towards other people, but it's just a sport. You know what I'm saying? So kind of walk us through that, man. How I see the cross around your neck. What is Jesus to you? What's faith in your life? And how does that go with football, man?
Oh yeah, Jesus to me is everything. I think I would nowhere near be close to the position I'm currently in without him. And yeah, I mean, he's been a blessing to me and to my family. He's constantly blessed us, and he gave us hard times as well. And I think those are things that we always have to overcome to grow and become better as a person. And yeah, faith is I think faith is definitely by far the strongest thing you can have. No matter the weight you lift, the meanness you have, no matter what it is, as long as you have faith, and I feel like that's when you're the most strongest. And when it comes to football, I mean, it's two different sides, by far. So, faith is more, forgiving and, you know, trusting and loving others. And football is not none of those three things. So I think, in the four quarters, you kind of have to find a passion. And, definitely by far, I know for a fact that, the Lord is still with me playing the game because, if I wasn't able to play, that's because I lost the Lord. And, there's a reason for, certain things like that to happen. And, as long as we keep the Lord in our life, especially mine, I know he will take me wherever I want to go. And, I think it's very important because I know that, whatever happens on the field, that's him controlling me and I let him control me. And I ask him every prayer, just to take over everything, my mind, body, soul, and my heart and, my words and everything. So it's very important to me. It's very important to my family. And, like I said, I think we're nothing without him. So, just to find Jesus at a young age was probably the best decision I've ever made. And I could never have a better blessing than that.
Amen, man.
Amen. And you said something I want to hit on real quick. You said love and trust and forgiveness. Now, I think in terms of Ohio State and the brotherhood that they use, which I found out talking to several people that played back in the early 2000s, they all talk about the brotherhood and they say it's a real thing because everybody says that, but I think talking to players, they feel it. But the love and the trust part, I think directly applies, especially to the O-line, because you have to trust your player right next to you, to the left and right of you, that they're going to do their job, and you got to work with the chemistry and the tandemness to accomplish the mission, even though it is violent. And also, if you play for the glorification of the Lord, I feel like you can take your game to a whole nother level that even you might not have thought you could. And can you speak on to the movement that you saw in this team the previous season and what your thoughts are on it?
Oh yeah, I think the biggest thing was their, expression of the Lord. And I think that's the biggest thing that really stand out more than even the national championship is the passion. And, getting a group of guys like that is very hard. It's very
Yeah.
hard to get a group of guys like that to, have ceremonies and all those things just, for Lord and for Christ. And even when things are going well in football, it's hard to keep it up. And, I think that's the biggest thing. And I think that was the toughest challenge, for Ohio State, speaking from, outside the locker room and things like that. And, you know, all praise to those guys. I mean, by far. And like I said, I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. Sometimes you kind of get caught up in things you want to do, and sometimes you forget that the Lord wants you to do something. And I felt like he talked to a lot of guys in that locker room, and they just did the rest, and they answer his call. So
Yeah, and real fast, we know you haven't chosen a school. We know we'll get into your relationship with Ohio State here in a little bit, but we're so passionate about Ohio State. That's why all our examples are Ohio State. We're so close to them. So we're not doing anything here, man. We know about the team, man, and we were seriously curious from like the outside looking in. So I love the answers, man, and I agree. I think what won them, I mean, to go through what Ohio State went through with losing to Oregon and then the worst one, losing to that other team the way that they did, you had to have faith or there was nothing. There would have been nothing. And same as a fan watching, man, the only thing I could do in that moment was have faith in the team, dude. I'm serious, dude. So you said it at the beginning. Faith is the strongest thing that you can have. And, I took the extremely hard path in life to figuring that out, but I just praise the Lord that I have figured it out. But, dude, you got a moment. Actually, let me back up a little bit. So you love football. You're on the offensive line. I'm sure you've played dang near every position known to man on the football field. But, dude, walk us through your mindset, man. When you're in there, what's going through your mind as an offensive lineman?
Oh yeah, I think the very first thing is violence. That's probably the main thing. Like I said, you take everything outside of football field. Problems gonna come. All the bad things gonna come, the good things too. But you let the good things go, and you keep the bad things on your mind the whole time. And that's the play you want to play with the whole time. And it's good. But outside of that, really just being able to identify certain things. It's kind of just like a big video game to me in a little bit. Like a virtual VR, and you're just watching and you're just trying to play and you're just trying to have fun at the end of the day, without stressing, without worrying. And that's another thing that the Lord does for me is, all my stress and all my problems, I just stop worrying about it because I know He'll take care of it. So, that's something, it's just football at the end of the day. Like as hard we
Yeah.
make it as fans, as players, as coaches, we might see it bigger than just football. At the end of the day, it's just football. We all play the video game, and we all just have fun doing it. So that's just kind of my mindset playing the game of football.
Well said, man. Well
This is
said.
my last question and comment about like for me in terms of like your upbringing and all that. Someone just wanted me to tell you that they loved your film and they love watching your camp video of you dominating Stewart. With that being said, who's the best defensive end or lineman that you might have faced thus far in your career? And what does it feel how does it feel to dominate someone that's considered the best at their position in their class? Like
Oh
what
yeah,
what do you feel inside?
oh yeah, well you just named it by far. Jakeem was definitely probably one of the toughest guys, or is the toughest guy that I probably had to block. And yeah, it was just a great opportunity. At the end of the day, like I said, it's just football. So, when Jakeem was lining up across and the whole line and D line from Ohio State and Coach Day was out there, I mean, it could be a little nerve wracking, but at the end of the day, just stick to my technique. And yeah, I mean, it's fun going against good guys like that. And, I went against plenty of good guys like Deuce Gerald and Control Webb and, other guys like that. And, it's, at the end of the day, Aiden Harris, at the end of the day, it's just, fun. It's fun to
Yeah.
compete. It's fun to go against other guys that are high level caliber players, and you just have a good time doing it, win or lose. So I enjoy it.
So what separates those guys from each other? Like what are some of the good things that they have and some things you think that like I thought it would have been a little bit better.
Oh yeah, by far. Jakeem off rip, his arms. I don't think nobody had as long as arms he had. So that was kind of a thing I had to adjust to really fast during camp. Guys like Aiden Harris, he's very shifty, he's very quick on his feet. Way to use his hands. Same as Deuce and Cottrell. Cottrell is a smaller guy, but he's just as fast or even faster. So he's much
Mhm.
more shiftier. And, when you're going backwards, it's hard to block somebody that fast, that quick.
Right.
And guys like Deuce, he has the same thing. And he looks 250. He might be lighter, but he has a great physique to him. Same as Aiden Harris. So those guys like that are pretty good. So
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just you said it, man. I love your mentality that you have, and there's a pattern that we always say on this show, and because we interview a lot of Ohio State players that are on the roster and that are being recruited or that are signed at the class right now, and the mentality that everybody brings that Ohio State is after is the mentality that you have, man. It's a very good head on your. How old are you again?
17.
Yeah, you're talking like you're 34 years. I'm 34 years old, and I haven't learned some of these lessons. And you're talking about you got to have fun playing football. When it comes down to it, simplify it. Have fun, man. The second you stop having fun doing it, you better watch out, dude, because you might be in the wrong place doing the wrong thing. So, congrats to you, man. I wanted to bring that up because maybe you have done this on your own, but I seriously doubt it. We do something called Pops Pod every other Friday, where a couple parents from some big time recruits they come on our show and they talk about the recruiting process, man. And the main theme that they always talk about is how important it is to have a support group around you, coaches, family, whatever that might be. Can you speak to that, Bam? Who are the people and what kind of support group are you surrounded by right now?
Oh yeah, so I have great people around me. I have mom, dad, brother, aunts, uncles, and all those things. But outside of family, I have a great trainer for me. He does a great job. He kind of just helps me through the process. I have great coaches that I've made relationships with, growing up with over time. Great friends, supportive. and things like that. And I try to build my circle around guys that I've been friends with for a long time, even before kind of the small success kind of came my way. So it's been great. But like at the end of the day, I know it's just a great opportunity for me, and it's just open doors, and you don't want to take advantage of it. So just stay
Yeah,
blessed and try to help as many people as I can while I have this position, because it won't last forever.
yeah.
And if just to let you know, so who runs Pop Pod is Devin Sanchez. He's the cornerback at Ohio State.
Yeah.
His father Daniel, and then Riley Pettijohn, the linebacker from Ohio State. Both are 25 class. His father Duke is also on it. So if your parents ever want to reach out or hop on with them and just chop it up, or you yourself, I don't know how that works. That might be a little hairy, but like if your parents want to hop on there, like you could hit us up. You got our contact information. We'll set that up for you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that kind of leads into what I wanted to get into. I asked that question first to get you in this mindset of college football's changed, man, with NIL, the transfer portal, and those changes have made recruiting that much crazier, right? There's so many situations out there that aren't good for recruits. There's so many that are good. NIL is I love it. I love it for players, man. We support players here on this channel through NIL. We do different things like that. Um, but it's also it's caused a black area, an area that's not so good, and that's why they talk about surrounding yourself with a good support group, people that can help kind of keep other people at bay that might not have the best intentions in their mind. So, dude, what's it like, man, being the number one offensive interior offensive lineman in the nation? School just left your house. How are you able to handle that? Is it crazy? Are you finding it too much? Are you getting comfortable with it? Are you ready for it to be over? Just talk to us about the craziness of recruiting.
Yeah, like I said, it was a blessing. So, like I also said earlier, I started getting recruited kind of before the NIL deal, and I've been able to, kind of see the change of everything. And for me personally, as of right now, it's not stressful for me at all, because I knew 4 or 5 years ago I would have died to be in this position. So, just making my younger self happy, and I'm finally here, and just making sure that everything goes the right way. And recruiting has changed a lot. It has. With rules, I mean, luckily I've been through the rules and all those things, and it's kind of been a long time being in the process. So, I really think like the best thing that's happened for the college kids, of course, is just more of a foundation for them, getting out of college and things like that. And the tough thing for high school recruits is with all the guys in transfer portal. I mean, who wouldn't want to take other guys that already been kind of in the college weight room and things like that? So it's just more work that kind of high school kids have to do. And I have a little cousin who's going to ninth grade, and I'm letting him know like this recruiting process is a whole different thing. It's going to be so much tougher for high school kids to start getting recruited. So for them, they're going to have to work twice as hard. Come out ready to go. And that's kind of the position I'm trying to put myself in now, as I have less than a year left. So that's just been a goal, and recruiting is just recruiting at the end of the day.
Yeah,
So
Yes, sir.
is
So,
what
what
it is.
position is your little cousin playing? One, and then if you could rate these things that in terms of importance, from most important to least important, in terms of how you're going to choose your school where you're going to spend the next 3 to 4 years,
mhm.
what would you say? Brotherhood, NIL, and then development. Like, rank those three for me.
Oh yeah, so I'll start off with the second question. Brotherhood is definitely number one. Brotherhood by far. I mean, nothing will top that, no matter what comes with anything else. Development is number two by far. That's the two things I look for. And, NIL is NIL. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, it's still just like a foundation. It's not generational wealth. And my goal was never really college in the first place. It was the NFL, but you have to get through college first to get there. So the NIL part don't really matter to me or my family at all. But really, my three things I'm looking for are those two things that you topped on, and then sports media. So I kind of want to do something similar to what you guys are doing, and
Mm,
so that's
Nice.
that's actually what I want to do. So yeah, I mean, player development, family atmosphere, and sports media is the only three things that I care about. Everything else is just there. And my little cousin, he's a smaller guy. He's a smaller guy. He's young, so he's about 5'9", 5'10" right now, and he's about like you know 160, 170. He lost a good amount of weight. So he's trying to figure out his positions now. So we're trying
Nice.
to see. So
Yeah. I'll give you this, dude. First off, you answered my next question about what you wanted, to do with schooling wise, because you got to be in school while you're going through the college thing. But dude, you got the vibe, dude. You got the voice. You seem very comfortable sitting here talking to us. That's not normal. Just to let you know, it's not normal for recruits to come on here and be able to smile and chill. It happens a lot. Like, we're chill on this channel. We're not some big time professional channel. We're literally just two fans that love talking football. But yeah, man, you got it, dude. There's people in the chat talking about how chill your voice is, dude. So people like listening to it, man.
thank you, guys. Thank you.
We're on a high state channel, so we do a disservice to our listeners without just asking, man, what's the relationship with Ohio State like? And who is it? Who are the people that you are hearing from Ohio State, and what's it like?
Oh yeah, so honestly, it's great. Of course, the departure from Coach Fry kind of changed things a little bit, but as soon as Coach Bowen in, I mean, it didn't change at all, actually. So he's actually a Virginia guy. He's coming from Virginia Tech, so I've been able to create a bond with him. So it was just as comfortable as I was with Coach Fry. And the guys I'm hearing from the most really is Coach Bowen and Coach Johnson and Coach Dickey. And Coach Locks, he's recruiting me hard, and I talked to Coach Day a few times as well, and he's a great guy. I mean, he's you can see you get around him and talk to him, you can see why he led a team to a national championship. So, I mean, great people all in that building. So Coach Bowen actually is going to come to the school later this month with Coach Hartline, the offensive coordinator. So
Ooh, nice.
So it'll be pretty good, and I'm a big fan of Ohio State as well. So I enjoy it with those guys.
So have you been around the city of Columbus yet? And what are your thoughts on what just happened on the draft with two O-linemen going in the first round?
Oh yeah, well I'll be around Columbus, a good amount of time actually. So my mom kind of has family in Cincinnati, and so we've been to Columbus a few times, and it's grown so much over time. It has, and the two biggest things and two players in the first round. Like Jackson and those guys. I mean, that's huge. That's huge. At the end of the day, that's kind of, every kid's dream. So I'm very happy for those guys. And, that's what you want. You want development, and you want to be able to have a chance to, go to the next level and, have the resources there for you in that building. So it helps a lot.
What does it say to you when you have a guy like Josh Simmons who got hurt and injured on October 12th, a pretty serious injury with his patellar tendon, right? It actually, I think that's the main reason Oregon even won the first game. Is if you look before he got injured, we were running on him. After he got injured, it kind of like slowed down. It threw a little wrench because obviously, I think it was a blessing because now they're rotating everywhere, even on the O-line, so that way everybody's getting that experience. But what does that say to you that a guy like Josh Simmons will get picked so high in the draft, even though he only played maybe less than half the season?
Oh yeah, well that definitely shows, the things that he did off season wise and be able to, explode and do the things that he did, during the short time that he had. And, it's another big thing. You could tell that he took care of his body seriously after the season. And while sadly he got hurt and, he really, took care of it. And, guys like, Will Johnson, sorry I had to bring him up, but
That's all right.
Guys like
he's
him,
a good football player.
Oh yeah, he's a great football player, and he got hurt, and it was sad to see that he dropped way lower than he should have. So, just for guys like Josh, it's a blessing for him, and I'm happy for him. So, it was good.
Absolutely, because he came a long way. He went from leading the nation in penalties to being considered the best left tackle in college football.
That shows his work right there.
Yeah.
But,
so I'm going to give you a little insight on Buckeye Nation right now because we're psychopaths, dude. It's crazy. It's wild. You know what I mean? I'm sure that you being on Instagram and Twitter and stuff, you've seen some Buckeye fans say some pretty wild takes. But, dude, so it was always the thing like, man, we knew Coach Bowen was at Virginia Tech. And when he came here, we're like, yes, hopefully that's a good thing with Darius Gray. Hopefully they built that relationship.
Yeah.
But no official visit was scheduled. So literally, dude, Buckeye Nation, they were tripping, dude, flipping out. Like, dude, what is going on here? Let me tell you something. The day that you scheduled your official visit, and nobody's trolling, right? You have an official visit scheduled, correct? Just to verify from the source directly. Boom, there it is.
Yes,
Dude, I got like 20 text messages. My phone blew up. There it is. There it is. Yes, dude. There's coming for official visit. So when is that visit, man? And where are you at? I don't know if you've dropped like a top 10 or what. I don't know. Can you kind of walk us through where you're at in that? When is your visit with Ohio State, and who are some of the top schools that are on your mind right now?
Oh yeah, so the visit for Ohio State is, I want to say June 11th through the 13th, so it's a weekday. We had to set it up. I think the reason why I didn't have it set up is because the departure from Coach Fry, so I wasn't able to really talk to nobody like that and kind of get it set up. With Coach Lies, I didn't know who the O-line coach was going to be, and so as soon as we saw Bowen, we knew for a fact we had to make one happen.
Yeah,
but yeah, so it's that. Schools that are other in the picture: LSU, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Clemson, probably. So I got a top 12 out there, and I enjoy every other school as well. But those are kind of the ones that recruiting me the hardest right now. So yeah, so that's where I am, and Ohio State is definitely up there on the list by far.
I just got a question because you always hear this, and I never knew how true it is with recruits. So I just have to ask you: is it true the last visit is probably the school that you're leaning towards the most, and probably where you're thinking like is your number one school, or is that just fake news?
That's probably fake news. For me, in case.
Okay.
They were kind of the first ones that actually set up the OV, and that was the first week they kind of brought up to me. It was like, perfect, let's do it. So that was kind of, but I know for a lot of guys that's the case. I do.
Yeah.
But I also know for a lot of guys they probably do it first, because at the end, they're all tired and don't really want to go anymore and things like that. So, it all depends on the person. But that's a good little stereotype out there.
Yeah, I just had to ask. I always
Oh
wondered.
yeah.
Well, Darius, it's been 30 minutes, man. We appreciate the heck out of you coming on here. I know Buckeye Nation is going to be thrilled to hear from you. You are the top of the list for Buckeye Nation's wish list at being in this recruiting class. Coach Bowen's building a pretty serious offensive line room there, and you pretty much got 3 head offensive line coaches there. Coach Day's not playing around with that. So, we're excited about Ohio State and the offensive line room. We're excited to watch where your career takes you and what you do. Whatever school you go to, know you're going to be a beast, man. Final question. When do you think you're going to be narrowing down, or when would be your commitment date, if you timeline, if you even know yet?
Oh yeah, well, if I had a big picture of like a dream type of thing, I do plan on narrowing down to about 5 or 3 after OVs are all said and done, and then hopefully, at first I was wanting to commit before the season, and how seasons go and how fast kind of guys change throughout. I kind of second thought about doing it after the season to at least have an idea of who may be leaving, who may be staying.
Gotcha.
So we'll kind of see. If I feel like it's right, I'll just go ahead and make it happen before the season. But
Absolutely. And
yeah.
good luck in that decision-making process. I feel like everything from how we talk to players, we talk to their parents, the recruits, some of the coaching staff, we feel like you'll be a great fit. So I believe in the power of the tongue. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prophesize it out right now. I'm going to salute you on helping us win our next couple of natties coming to Columbus, man. Look at that smile. You're built for the big city of Columbus, man. The fastest and biggest growing city in America. A lot of money to be made, a lot of fans. And if you could tolerate a Buckeye fan base, seriously, you could, any fan base or any place you go in the NFL is going to be cake.
Oh yeah, by
so
far.
Salute to
y'all
you,
the most
my
passionate.
future Buckeye. Let me know what jersey you gonna get, because I'm gonna have you sign it. I'm gonna rock it, and then I'm gonna post it on the wall. He's already got some on his wall. I got to catch up to Dev. I'm looking to see that gray on that scarlet and gray jersey, my brother.
Bro, you pretty much already wear Buckeye uniform, right?
Oh yeah,
you got that red.
Already red.
Man, look at that transition. That's perfect.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? The next first round draft pick for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. Darius Ray.
Darius, man, like I said, dude, we appreciate the heck out of you, man. You got any final words, final thoughts for everybody watching?
Oh no, but Ohio State fans are definitely the most passionate. They kind of got on me a little bit They were like, "Oh yeah, we like you wearing, red and silver at the team up north spot." So,
Yeah.
it kind of got on me a little bit. And like I said, my team is red and gray, so I kind of just wore my school colors. But
I
you know,
love that.
gave them some good ideas. But thank you guys so much for having me, and I had a great time talking to you guys. And wish you guys all the best. And Buckeye Nation, can't wait to be a part of you all soon, potentially. So, thank you guys again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to end the show here. Stick around. I got to get some information from you. But Buckeye Nation, don't forget, man, hit that like button. Share this on your X, Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. But on that note, we love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.
Ayo.